Yes, we love our life. Do you love your life? Yes, I love my life. Do you love your life?
I'm Donche with No, a collectively operated and intermittently broadcast movement of color, and this is Game Changers. A woman is a woman, not an ethnic being. Nestled in the Chicago lawn community, I'm paving a path for parents by cultivating their children for the now and future. No highlights Game Changer, Cashmere House.
3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10. It is a dog!
Cashmere, thank you so much for this opportunity and for allowing us into your facility.
Yes, my pleasure.
Yes, so mother-daughter, it's a dual relationship that instantly says to me that this is a platform of genuine nurture. And so my question is, could you please share with us your backstory and then also mother-daughter Daycare and how that came to be?
Sure. So it came about in my early years of trying to do my studies.
Gotcha.
Back in 2013, I started to, go to school and take up classes of me, having my first child, just to get familiar to with parenting and, nurturing. So my mom from birth, she used to, take care and watch the neighborhood children. And that inspired me. So once I got started, I pretty much went to school part-time, and in the midst of it, I decided to just open up a home daycare. We have been in operation for about 5 years now, and we have care for over 11 different families.
Awesome. Solid. So my next, pre-COVID-19, what services of childcare were offered?
Okay, before we was doing before and after care, I was operating from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. However, due to the new guidelines and reopening your home or your facility, we had to change our hours. And also, upon arrival, the children have to check their temperature. We have to wear face masks. Even for the smaller children, my preschoolers, they have to have on face masks, and the parents are not allowed into the facility. We just drop them off at the door, check their temperature, give them their face mask, which is disposable, so we get rid of them daily. And we carry on throughout our day, encouraging them to wear their face masks and, of course, social distance. But it's kind of challenging because they're so small, but we've been able to, move along with it on daily routine. Are these donuts?
My mom will make it.
Your mom make donuts at home?
Yeah, my mom will eat it.
You eat some too?
As it relates to Illinois state laws and COVID-19 precautions, how has mother-daughter home daycare transitioned to provide safe care for your children and your parents?
Okay, so it was optional. So what we did on our end, I felt it was safe once we all come back together to meet. We did like a Zoom with the parents and just asking their concerns and things of that nature to move forward so we can reopen. And everyone agreed to take a COVID-19 test. It was offered for the age of 2 years old and up, and it was free. Kennedy King College was also doing it. So we all decided to get tested, and once everybody's results came back in, then the children started to come in.
Awesome. As a woman of color in an industry where you're your own boss and with the freedom to network and hire at your own discretion, from the legal process till now, have you ever experienced any racial and or gender discrimination, hidden and or overt at all?
Okay. On my end, I could not relate. I have heard stories, but not me personally, experiencing any discrimination when it came to me starting a home daycare. They do require you to take a background. You have to have a background check done.
Gotcha.
But I haven't experienced anything, racial or anything on my behalf. Besides when I was in school, and a lot of things have changed, where back in 2015, it was a law that passed. A lot of home daycares at the time you only needed a high school diploma in order to start a home daycare.
Gotcha.
And then the law passed because a lot of minorities, you know what I'm saying, started to open up home daycare. So they changed and they raised up the bar where we have to have like 12 credit hours with the state. At that time, I was in the midst of doing my studies. So it was a rush for the next semester, was upcoming spring semester. And I noticed that a lot of women of color and minority, you know, was in the same classroom as me. And it was kind of shocking because I'm like, I'm 22. And the women was like 36 and up, and they was like talking amongst each other as if the state had raised up the bar in order to operate a home daycare. They also wanted you to have about 12 credit hours, child development related, in order to still operate your daycare.
Gotcha.
So a lot of women and men had to close down their home daycare facility and go to school to get the credentials in order to operate.
Okay. Can you please share with us the history of daycare and how it got started, like bare roots to it?
So Illinois Action for Children was founded in 1969, and a lot of us, you know, like I said, from minority, we didn't have any clue about the state was offering this program to pay for your child to go to daycare or to attend a preschool-based settings. So that was pretty interesting to me and a lot of others because my kid's grandmother had been operating a daycare for 20 years, and when she first got started after attending college and graduating, she didn't have any knowledge about this program that was even offered out there. So it was like no one pretty much knew.
Note says you honor, abet, and defend the wisdom, power, and existence of the woman with all of your might.
I know you said earlier that you'd never experienced any discrimination. But are you aware of any minority discrimination within the daycare industry as a whole, past or present?
Yes, it put me in mind of when I was taking my courses,
Yeah.
and I noticed that a rush came into when the state passed the law where you had to have had to have the requirements in order to operate a home daycare. It was already set in stone for them to work at a daycare center or even possibly a school setting. You had to have the credentials, but you didn't need the credentials in order to operate a home daycare. All you needed was a GED or a high school diploma. So at that time, our people, we just, a lot of them had little education, so they was able to operate and run a business from their home. And as, they started to expand and, in my opinion, started to like grab property, they raised the bar up, and it was mandatory that you had to have these college courses and classes in order to operate your home daycare in your home setting.
Gotcha. Let's dive a little deeper into like another segment of what you see on a regular basis, and that's gender roles. And I want to know, what is your view on gender roles, and how do you, what's your perspective on how a father or a male nurturing a child, how their masculinity is compromised, or is it compromised by that?
Okay. So I have been very fortunate. As I mentioned, we have been operating this daycare for about 5 years now.
Gotcha.
And I deal with a lot of working class parents.
Yeah.
Overall, I have been seeing 2 homes. So I've been seeing 2 homes where it's mom and dad, and they both playing like, I can't say it's a gender role, because I see my father's pick up,
Yeah.
I see my mother's drop off, or I see my father's drop off, I see my mother's pick up. And this is something that I have been witnessing, with my own eyes for the past 5 years. So I wouldn't say that it's like, oh, your dad and dad can't do this, or mom can't do this. I have seen everyone come together as a whole, and it's very interesting this day and time because we don't see that often.
Will you please share what's on the horizon for mother-daughter home daycare?
Okay, so where we are right now, as I mentioned, we've been operating for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Everything's coming along.
Yeah.
I am operating a business from my apartment. The goal is to purchase property. So we're looking into a 3-flat building where I can turn the basement out into our daycare facility so we can have bigger space. Because with the capacity of the space, you have to have space in order to like bring in a certain amount of individuals. So that's our goal right now, is to get a bigger building, so we can expand and bring in more families and continue to move forward with that.
We had a personal conversation a while ago about personal motivations and taking this opportunity to really invest in yourself. And so my question to you is, what could you share with young men and women of color who are entrepreneurs or desire to be?
In my opinion, what I will suggest, first, step out there on faith, you know, believe in yourself. Nothing is impossible. So it really starts with self. And in a day and time that we live in where the economy is going up and down, and this is a hard time, it is possible. If you have a passion, follow your passion, not the money, because your passion is going to pay its way through, you know. And no matter where you at in life, just wake up that morning and say, I'm going to do it. You know, on my behalf, I stepped out on faith. And when I got started, I was working at a daycare center where someone was above me. And just me asking the director, the manager, a simple question of, you know, we haven't been paid in a week. So when were we going to get paid? And she, like, it's like I asked her a question that she was like, you know, she like exploded on me. And she wound up firing me. But look at me now. You know, it's 5 years me operating this home daycare. And it's so sad to say is, you know, 5 years her business has been shut down. And I stepped out on faith because this is a field I was already seeking. I was already, you know, going and taking classes to get my degree. I have graduated, so I do have my associates in preschool education. And like I said, I've been operating the daycare for 5 years now with my mother. And it's been coming around well. So don't let no one tell you what you can't do. Even if you feel as if there is no way out, just step out there on faith and network, you know, network. Don't be afraid to network.
On the sky, sun's out, I'm about to have a good time. My friends outside, my car's outside.
So let's switch up the notes, harden the bass, then soften the melody to a nation's more than a centuries-old symphony, and safeguard the children with your vote. From the interactions with the children to the curriculum and the services offered with respect due to COVID-19 precautions, Cashmere, thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity and for welcoming the movement into mother-daughter home daycare.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Paving a path for parents by cultivating their children for the now and future. Game Changer, Cashmere House. This is now collectively operated and intermittently broadcast movement of color. Inhale love. Exhale hate.